President Trump is compared to Hitler for the umpteenth time. Welcome to Real Quick with Gino Giovanni. On Wednesday, Democrats were once again pushing a narrative that our President of the United States is Adolf Hitler. Any surprise? That he is taking his power to the next level and will not leave office. On Chris Cuomo's show, Majority Whip James Clyburn stated the way President Trump is acting to stay in power was like Hitler in 1933. The Democrats, mainstream press, and big social media firms all are pushing the narrative that Joe Biden is the president-elect. They all want their guy in and will stop at no cost to defeat President Trump. Let's go back to election night. Fox News called Virginia before anyone else. Also, FNC and the AP called Arizona before anyone else, which in turn led to FNC to call the race in Biden's favor, something that Biden even said during the first debate. No one should be awarded the winner until, quote, every ballot is counted. And let's not forget Hillary Clinton at the DNC this year said, in quote, no matter what, Joe, don't concede. We also have learned from Kennedy at Fox Business that in Florida, lawyers for VP Biden were present at the polls during the night of the election. This was because Florida has been a close state in many elections, and if it was close, the Democrats were also ready to call foul and state the election was, quote, being stolen from us. The point is, just like the point of this new show, is to give you the other side of the story. The mainstream press, Democrat politicians, and now big tech all push the same narrative. It's that Joe Biden won the 2020 election. President Trump needs to leave office in January and not to contest the election results. Because if you do, you're crazy and you need, quote, evidence for your claim. And yes, there is evidence. An overwhelming amount of evidence, including 234 pages of affidavits alleging election irregularities, which means if all these people who are under oath are lying, they face 10 years in prison. That's the, people who actually gave the affidavit. And this is just scratching the surface. Not to mention the 6,000 votes they found by computer in Detroit that was meant to go towards Trump, then was found to go towards Biden, along with the 3,000 ballots in Philadelphia that was for Biden, and all those voters were dead. I'm not going to get into the count and go all detail. I'm just going to keep it like high level. The point is the Democrats don't mention how they were ready to call foul and now act like they won the presidency. No one officially knows who won. That doesn't take place till late December, folks. Fox News isn't the mecca of news either and awarding victors. They actually did this back in 2000 for Bush, and all the other networks were angry over this call. Now they do it for Biden in 2020, and the networks are thrilled. Not only, in their mind, President Trump is on his way out, but FNC awarded the winner, which means either pandering end to the right or an end of an era in cable news. As in, like, the big kahuna was finally submitting to the other side. And so a recount is underway in Georgia. No one has been awarded Georgia, in fact. Also, North Carolina and Alaska were finally called for President Trump. Now, if the vote is too close by the end of the first count in Pennsylvania, there will be a recount there and maybe Wisconsin. And one more example. Well, actually, I might have two. But President Obama hit the promotion trail to promote his new book when asked by CNN his thoughts of the, quote, false claims of voter fraud. Obama said, in quote, it undermines our election process. Again, this is the same man who in 2012, there were votes in Philadelphia all for Obama and not one for Mitt Romney. This is the same man who is in 2012, it was found that millions of Republicans didn't show up to the polls because the IRS was threatening them for voting, or who used Acorn to get out the vote, and it was found that dead people also voted for then Senator Obama in 2008, along with Mickey Mouse. And this was not contested because there were no Republicans willing to fight. Also, another example, Whoopi Goldberg on The View. And, you gotta trust The View. Gotta trust The View. And Whoopi Goldberg comes out the next day of the elections and saying, now you know how it feels, so suck it up. Joe Biden's going to be the president. Suck it up? Like your side sucked it up for 4 years trying to get President Trump out of office, and you failed at every attempt? Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Don't count Trump out. There is always a victor somewhere in that realm. Every time he seems like he's going to lose, he ends up winning. Every time. So we'll see. We'll see if that trend continues or not. My final thought. Democrats say one thing and do another every day. They are the biggest hypocrites you can find. What kind of message are you willing to send the American people, Democrats? Why shouldn't, or we shouldn't have any Americans who act in such an unprofessional manner while in office? But unfortunately, we do. The silver lining for the 2020 election is some of those people are also on their way out. A lot of Democrats were defeated in state and congressional races to narrow the gap between Republicans and Democrats in office. So much so that after the Republicans draw the lines for redistricting, Politico actually seems to be awarding Republicans the House in 2022. Or I should say predicting that they're going to win. The fight for truth continues, America. If you really want to, look up more information about what anyone tells you. Even this show. We should all be held accountable for being in the public square. That being said, in fact, today is Exodus from Facebook. I have a brand new profile on the platform Parler.com. Come find me, Gino Giovanni, all one word. I'm looking to more platforms to get off Twitter and maybe Instagram. Catch the show on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and many more platforms. Add me on Parler at Gino Giovanni. You have been listening to Real Quick with Gino Giovanni. I'll be back Monday. Have a good weekend.